I'm Brian Winnekins. We are in Washington, D.C. at the National Association of Farm Broadcasting Convention, and thank you to our Washington Watch sponsors, including the Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation, Wisconsin Corn Growers Association, Dairyland Equipment Services, and BASF. I'm with Dr. John Newton from the American Farm Bureau Federation. We're going to talk about the economy. Dr. Newton, thanks for joining us. Wisconsin, dairy, bad. That's pretty much all we can say about that.
Yeah, it's been a pretty tough year for dairy farmers. We look at 2018 going into the spring flush now. Looks a whole lot like 2016. We have pretty low milk prices. The dairy margins for the MPP program are at their lowest levels that we've seen in 2 years and 20 months, quite frankly. So pretty challenging time for the farm economy and for dairy farmers.
What's your silver or crystal ball showing for the dairy industry? Are we still going to continue to see this increase in milk production, which is just going to keep causing a problem? Or is demand starting to pick up to maybe soak up some of that?
Well, we continue to have a pretty strong demand for dairy products, both domestically and abroad. We look at February, dairy product exports were up about 4% year over year. But you're right, milk production continues to grow. First quarter milk production in 2018 across the U.S. was up 1.5%. But it wasn't everywhere. We saw milk production was actually down nearly 20% in Alabama, down 10% in Mississippi. So some of the southern states, southeastern states saw a decline in milk production. Georgia milk production was down about 4%. But then when you have California milk production up 3%, and knowing how big they are, that's a whole lot more milk that came online in that first quarter 2018.
With all of the uncertainty that we have with our trade policy right now, how's that going to be affecting the ag economy in general?
Well, it certainly creates a whole lot of uncertainty. Just take, for example, what we've seen on sorghums. The tariff on sorghums of over 150% really just stopped sorghum exports in their tracks this year. Sorghum exports have slowed, and then you think about the uncertainty on soybeans going into this planting season. Growers are going to be out in the fields later this spring thinking about putting beans in. And I think they want to know that there's going to be a market when they harvest those beans, and there's going to be a market in China, our number one importer.
Challenging time to say the least in agriculture, but hopefully things will work their way through like they always seem to do. Again, Dr. Newton, thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
We're in Washington, D.C. With the annual NAFB Washington Watch Convention. I'm Brian Winnekins for Real Country 1430 WRDN.